The next piece came after many, many talks in cafes between Henry Miller and Lawrence Durrell about our writing. We nurtured and encouraged each other greatly, but we also had differences. And this night was one of differences, and it is dedicated to the women. Both Miller and Durrell suddenly attacked my personal relation to all things, my personification of ideas. I defended myself by saying that relating was an act of life. To make history or psychology alive, I have to personify it. Also, everything depends on the nature of the personal relationship, and myself is like the self of Proust. It is merely an instrument to connect life and the myth. I quoted Spengler, who said that all historical patterns are reproduced in individual man. Entire historical evolutions are reproduced in one man in one lifetime. A man could experience in a personal way a Gothic, a Roman, or a Western period. Man is cheating when he sits for a whole evening talking about Lao Tse, Goethe, and Rousseau and Spengler when they really mean Henry and Lawrence Durrell. It would be closer to the truth if they would say that. It would be more honest if Larry said that it is Larry who feels irritation because symbolical wine does not taste as good as plain wine. When they discussed the problem of my diary, all the art theories were involved. They talked about the geological changes undergone with time and that it was the product of this change that we called art. I asserted that such process could take place instantaneously. Henry said, but that would upset all the art theories. I said, I can give you an example. I can feel the potentialities of our talk tonight while it's happening, as well as 6 months later. Look at the birth story. It varies very little in its polished form from the way I told it in the diary immediately after it happened. The new version was written 3 years later. Objectivity may bring a more rounded picture, but the absence of it, empathy, feeling with it, immersion in it, may bring some other kind of connection with it. Henry asked, but then why did you feel the need of rewriting it? I said, for a greater technical perfection, not to recreate the feeling. Larry, who before had praised me for writing as a woman, for not breaking the umbilical connection, said, you must rewrite Hamlet before you do anything else. Why should I? I said, if that is not the kind of writing I wish to do. Larry said, because you must learn to make the leap outside of the womb and destroy all connections. I know, I said, that this is an important talk, and that it will be at this moment that we each go different ways. Perhaps Henry and Larry will go the same way, but I will have to go another, the woman's way. At the end of the conversation, they both said, we have a real woman artist before us. We ought not to put her down. I know Henry is the artist because he does exactly what I do not do. He waits. He gets outside of himself until it becomes fiction, and then it is all fiction. I'm not interested in fiction. I want faithfulness. All I know today is that I am right for me. If today I can talk both woman's and man's language, if I can translate woman to man and man to woman, it is because I do not believe in man's objectivity. In all his ideas, systems, philosophies, arts come from a personal source he does not wish to admit. Henry and Larry are pretending to be impersonal. Larry has the English complex, but it's all a disguise. Poor woman, how difficult it is to make her instinctive knowledge clear. Shut up, says Larry to Nancy. She looks at me strangely, as if expecting me to defend her, to explain her. Nancy, I won't shut up. I have a great deal to say, for June and for you and for other women. As to all that nonsense that Henry and Larry talked about, the necessity of feeling that I am God in order to create, I suppose they mean I am God, I'm not a woman. Woman never had direct communication with God anyway, only through man, the priest. She never created directly except through man, and was never able to create as a woman. But what neither Larry nor Henry understand is that woman's creation, far from being like man's, must be exactly like her creation of children, that it must come out of her own blood and glowed by her womb, nourished with her own milk. It must be a human creation of flesh. It must be different from man's abstractions. As to this I am God, which makes creation an act of solitude and pride, this image of God alone making sky, earth, sea, it is this image which has confused woman, man too, because he thinks God did it all alone, and he thinks that he did it all alone. And behind every achievement of man lies a woman, and I'm sure God was helped too, but never acknowledged it.